Hello everyone, this is White Wolf and we are going live and we are going to be talking about don't tolerate certain energetic frequencies. When you just don't tolerate anything anymore and you only want your vibration to be the representation of what you want to bring in, but also the wealth that you're bringing in, but also just the way that you carry yourself, and just to not tolerate certain frequencies, certain past life regressions, also just patterns that you find yourself in, but also relationship patterns and maybe like certain behavioral patterns that you find yourself in, and just not tolerating it and trying to live by your expression, but also living by just not tolerating having anything come into your space. You have to ignore the roar and you have to live by your divine expression. And you also have to live by the representation of God's source energy that you're trying to become on this earth plane. So when we are going along our journey, what we have to do is that we have to stop tolerating a non-prosperous way of living. Rather it's your mindset, rather it's your belief systems, rather it's your energy that you're tapping into. Rather you make your meditations powerful. Just try to be that power and try to live within the present moment here and now, and just expand from that present moment and to allow yourself to initiate into another parallel reality. And when you do this, you will collapse timelines. You will allow yourself to quantum shift into the quantum leaping of tapping into your heart space and elaborating on manifesting your desires from that place of that loving, unconditional peace. So when we don't tolerate energy, what we're doing is that we are living by our channel, but we're also living by our force field of energy. So we're electromagnetic kinetic source energy, and that means that we are a force field of energy, that we repel energy, psychic interference, psychic attacks, also allowing ourselves to heal past lifetimes. And also understanding that we're breaking a lot of energetic bonds that we have with people, places, and things. Letting go of our attachments, letting go of perceiving people as objects. So we're letting go of the subject to object relationship. And I hope the internet connection is good. So let me know if the internet connection is good. Also, you guys can book a private session. Also, this live feed will go on YouTube, White Wolf the Oracle, and BitChute White Wolf the Oracle 23_ @ if you want to see that. Also, if you've never been on this channel before, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a spirituality channel. I do readings and healings and activations and also meditations as well. So stay tuned. We're going to do a meditation today. But one of the things that was on my heart and that was on my mind was not tolerating certain behaviors, not tolerating certain people, but just not tolerating like certain energies that you take on. You are empathic, you are sensitive, and yes, you will get triggered, and yes, you will feel your emotions, but you don't see them as ways of getting into a thought process or getting into a certain situation or getting into a certain circumstance. So when you allow yourself to change the energy always, you're allowing yourself to psychically protect yourself. And when you do this, you're just staying in your authority. You're staying within your zone, but you're not allowing anything to penetrate the awareness that you are. So you're being observant of your energy. So you allow yourself to know who you are. At that exact moment, you're staying present with who you are, but you're also aligning to the vibration of what you can become and how you can expand upon the present moment. So you allow yourself to try to change the way that you feel at this exact moment. If you can just ditch your thoughts, if you can just ditch your current state and not give it any power and not give it any emotion and not give it any credence, how do you feel at that exact moment? How do you feel the sudden shift within yourself? How do you feel that change within yourself? And then you allow yourself to just channel your heart. You allow yourself to let go of the attachment. You allow yourself to let go every day, forgive every day. And so that you're able to subtract, but then you're able to add on and multiply. So you allow yourself to expand upon the present moment. It allows you to align to that vibration so that, okay, this person keeps coming into my life. Me and this person don't really see eye to eye, but I'm not going to stoop to their level and agree to disagree, because that is not my truth and that's not what I resonate with. So you have to just politely say to that person that I do not want to engage in your arguments of disillusion, and also delving deep into your illusion, and also within your space of consciousness. So I hope you guys can hear me. I hope the volume is good. And I hope that you guys book private sessions. And also, if you see me online doing readings and healings, take part in that too. Also subscribe to the channel as well. As this live feed is continuing, this is a channeled message for my higher self, and a wonderful comment that someone made: live and learn. Listen, live, and learn are the most important things, because you're listening to your intuitive nature, you're listening to your inner resonance, you're listening to the charge that generates that pulse but allows you to be alive, spiritually alive, to thrive, to live, and to learn, and to listen, and to receive, and to be fulfilled within that moment. So having that understanding of how you can change your present state and how to change your present moment, you can allow yourself to see what you're unwilling to tolerate, what you're unwilling to immerse yourself in, but also just understanding that this is your energy, and not everybody is supposed to be inside of your energy. Not everybody is worth your energy, okay? So that means, like, don't have energetic bondages, knowing that you can get rid of all the cords that are binding you. You can break all of the generational curses that you have within your earth plane, and you can heal all the past life regressions that we've had on this earth plane. So a lot of us have past lifetimes that bleed out into this lifetime. Sometimes we have stuff from the past that comes up. Sometimes we have emotional healing just abruptly just come up for no reason. It's always for a reason, but sometimes it just comes abruptly, and it just opens you up, and it just allows yourself to clear within that moment using that Kundalini energy. So when we become that frequency that's unwilling to tolerate certain vibrations, tolerate certain ways of thinking, but also certain ways of speaking, and also certain ways of meditating. So the way I meditate can be distinctly different from how you meditate. You should meditate how you meditate, not how I meditate, not how Sally meditates, or Amanda, or this person or that person down the street, or the person that you went to a retreat and saw. You should meditate how you get yourself back into sync with yourself, because then that's giving yourself a reflection and seeing yourself as that reflection. So you're seeing yourself as God. You're seeing yourself as the reflection of the I Am Presence looking back at itself, looking through the lens and the eyes of the I Am Presence. So reflect back to yourself. If you need to really call yourself out, like, why was I tolerating that? Because then that's you being honest with yourself. Sometimes we have to really check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. And it's very humbling when we do this, because we're able to check within our vibration. One of the things I do daily is archangels of love and light, who's willing to cleanse us of our auric field, tapping into God's source energy and the great I Am, diving deep into Middle Mother Gaia Earth, north, east, south, and west. And before I do any of my lives, I put a 1,000,000 layer protection grid and send 1,000,000 angels, dragons, and fairies all around me, because that's just keeping your energy in check. And also implementing that psychic protection, because sometimes people have motives. Sometimes people have agendas. And sometimes you have to stick to your own routine, and you have to stick to who you are as a metaphysical warrior. So don't be tied to a specific place, a specific person, or a specific astral plane. Just know that you can be in a completely different stratosphere in one instant. But it's not just necessarily like stop thinking, but really it's just taking your mind off of something. And if you have to like focus like on this, like this camera, like you can just literally focus on the tree right here, and you can bring your attention and awareness to focusing on one thing, so that you're not scatterbrained and focusing on so many other things. Because that's where we kind of have a mishap or a misstep, right? So because if we're not able to focus on one thing, then we are not able to focus on all the things that we need to focus on. So it just gives us a different perspective, but also it gives us a different reshaping of perspective. And I don't write any of my messages down. That's one thing my guides wanted to say, because a long time ago I used to do that. I used to write it all down, but then sometimes I'd have to look at the notebook. And when we channel from the heart, it feels more authentic, it feels more true, but it also hits on a certain note for somebody, giving them confirmation. So you don't have to be a fast talker, you don't have to be a fast rapper, you don't have to be technical about it, you don't have to be the best singer ever. It's just like, if someone resonates with it, it's like they like peanut butter and jelly, and you're peanut butter and jelly for them, then they resonate with that. It's kind of like, someone might like pistachio ice cream more than you, and then you just align to that because you like pistachio ice cream more, because I like pistachio ice cream. So that's the ice cream that I would pick more than the other ice cream. It's kind of like picking your favorite radio station. So this is how you become a universal receptor. So it's like picking your favorite radio station. Like, I know for a fact that I'll like punk rock, or I'll like rap music, or I'll like country music, because those are my 3 favorite genres. That's the frequencies that I want to tap into. But you yourself, if you didn't like punk music and you didn't like country music, then you wouldn't pick that, because that's not of your energy and that's not of your frequency, and that's not going to resonate. So sometimes it's kind of like better to go kind of with what you know. And it's not like staying in your own way and staying in your own lane. So it's not just like being in your own bubble, but going with what you know, and what you know true within your heart feels more authentic, and it feels more like you're having some sense of familiarity, not only with the creator inside of yourself, but also the creator outside of yourself. So it's just finding where to connect to, and finding how can I connect back into that. How can I connect back into source? How can I come back into alignment and shock myself back into alignment? It's kind of like I force myself to swim in cold water. Like, I remember the pool was like 30 or 40 degrees. Tony Robbins does it every morning, where he goes into a pool that's literally 40 or 50 degrees, because it's like an electroshock to the body, and there is purification within that. So like when you're going to the hot springs, or you're just literally forcing yourself to be in that water. Sometimes I jump in, sometimes I ease my way in, but regardless, I have to force myself, and I have to have the motivation to get into that cold water, so it sends a shock to the system. So it's kind of like it's almost like when Jesus would wash the feet of the disciples, right? He wanted them to be cleansed. So that's why taking baths in Epsom salts is very important, because you're thinking about your spiritual hygiene. You're thinking about like the energy that's around you. So if you haven't taken a shower in like 2 or 3 days, then you could be doing energy work, and it could be still on you. So then that's how you clear the energy. And just saying clear is sometimes enough. But having your space be your own space, it's like you would not have an office at your job that did not resonate with what you were trying to represent as the boss, as the employer. You would have your plaques, you would have your paintings, you would have your desk with your name on it. You would not have your office not be something that you didn't resonate with, or that you didn't want in your space. That just sounds ridiculous, right? I know that was a ridiculous example, but it was just kind of came through. And that's really the point. Is that once you're sick of your own sickness, then you're healed. That's a quote from Bentinho Massaro that he said. When you're sick of your own sickness, then you're healed. That means if you're just tired of something, if you don't want to tolerate something, if you really just want to ignore it and express yourself authentically, I'm not saying that you won't, in that moment, maybe feel some tension. You will feel tension, but then you're not giving into the tension. You're not giving your allegiance to that. You're not giving your power away towards the tension. And then you're just kind of cutting it with a butter knife, okay? So yeah, you're welcome. It's okay. It's just fine. And I do read your guys' comments. I hope you guys know that. And it's kind of just like being yourself. It's being your spiritual being, and being that person 90% of the time. Now, it's very hard to do. It's very hard to flow with that. It's very hard to go with that. But if you can be aligned within your vibration like 90% of the time, then the 10% of the time means that, okay, I have some triggers, I have some emotions, I have some thoughts, I have some circumstances and experiences that I don't understand, okay? But it's fine. That 10% does not dictate the 90%, and that's how you're deferring from that. You're not like deflecting necessarily. It's really, but it's not putting it like that 1%'s not going to like erase everything that you did. It's kind of like playing a video game. Every day you kind of get better at the game because you remember like where the characters are, where the bad guys are. Yes, it's up to difficulty, but you're still adapting to the environment, and you have like your endurance, your health bar, and your abilities that you're building upon. So it's like using that video game analogy as a way of looking at yourself from a different lens, from a different perspective. So it's like spiritual muscle memory. That is beautiful. I love how you put that. Spiritual muscle memory. That is, it's because I had some weight that I had because I was eating fast food, and I stopped working out for 3 months. So I had to start running again. I have a cardio routine. I swim. I don't necessarily lift weights, but I do what works for me. And then I had to train that muscle to get acquainted back with me. And that's the same thing with spirituality, meditation, awakening, psychic abilities, and psychic protection, is that you have to train yourself with that repetition, that consistency to kind of mold it into existence. So that you're not just saying that I am this and I am that I am that I am, instead of just saying that I am this thing, because you're not this thing. You're not a subject to object relationship. You're a metaphysical being having a human experience, right? So I think that's how it goes. I'm not entirely sure. So, and you don't have to get everything right, and you don't have to know everything right now, and you don't have to feel like you have to rush. In life, we always rush. Every time that we rush, we're actually losing more time. But then we see through the illusion of time, because there is no time. There is no physical time, because that's based in linearity. So you do have times tables and you do have timelines, but they're just experiences that you've already had. So they're experiences that you've already had, that you've already been a part of, that you've already opened yourself up towards. But you've just have not experienced them yet within your direct experience. That's why we see into the future. That's why a lot of us see into the future, because we've already experienced everything that we're supposed to experience, because there's always another version of ourselves that picked, like let's say you went to a cigar shop and there's a Connecticut and a Maduro. There's already a version of you that picked that Connecticut cigar, and there's always a version of you that picked that Maduro cigar. It's still the same experience, but just a tad different. And if you guys have not watched the movie Frequency with Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel, it will explain things in a relative way, because he was talking to himself as a younger man, but then he was talking to his older self, but it was all happening simultaneously, right? So it was all happening simultaneously, past, future, present. So that's what's happening on this earth plane. That's why you feel like you've been here before. That's why you feel like you've experienced this before. That's why we have deja vu. And I just came with that knowledge just abruptly. So that's why we have deja vu. Like sometimes I'll watch a movie and I know that I've already seen that movie, but I just didn't have that recognition that I experienced it. So it's kind of like, it's like, whoa, you know, like it's like, oh my God, like I have experienced this. It has happened, but it just hasn't happened yet. Think about that. That's the unknown. So the point of this message was, don't tolerate, ignore vibrations, energies, bondages, attachments that try to flood your river. if you are connecting to the river of source and it's coming down into that vibration, then it will always rain down what you need instead of what you don't need. So like in the very beginning, and I'm going to be very honest and vulnerable here, probably in the very beginning, I had a different energy than I do now. So it was more like a side energy, or an energy that I was stuck in, right? But that didn't mean that I wasn't doing my gift properly. It just meant that I had to mature so I can up a frequency and a density of consciousness and encompass this vibration right here, right now. So a lot of you, if you're starting out, and sometimes if your higher self is above you, it's okay. It's still assisting you. And if there is a side energy that's coming in, you might have to be within that energy for just a little bit, but then you move on and you grow and you mature. So I remember that there was a specific live that I did with my girlfriend, and that's when I came into my mantle. So that was an energy, there was an energy transference, but also there was a transfiguration within my soul, and there was a change within the organism and the DNA of who I am to encompass that vibration. So if you're at a current vibration right now, don't disregard it, but just know that it will always change. I don't know how to answer that question. I don't think I will. Because I do see a lot of people on the live feeds, they leave a comment that they're trying to make you say something, and I don't say it because I don't fall for it, because I've seen videos where people fall for it, and it's kind of like embarrassing for the person. So if you didn't get anything from this live feed, what this really means is that a lot of you are coming into your mantle, you're upping a density of consciousness, you're ushering into a new reality, a new timeline, but also finding that direct experience of the I am presence. And that's what you're doing. But it's also living the prophecy, not tolerating, ignoring what is trying to come into your space, and knowing that you don't have to take on the world's energy. So I hope the internet connection is good. It seems like it is. Book private sessions with me. We're going to do a meditation. I have private sessions for 1 hour for $70, $60 for a healing and activation session, and $50 for a psychic class if I get 4 or 5 people. Also, White Wolf the Oracle, YouTube, Instagram, whitewolf4741, and BitChute, whitewolftheoracle23_@symbol. So we're going to do a meditation. And with this meditation, I want you to allow yourself to not tolerate certain frequencies and vibrations and energy, and protecting yourself and using your psychic protection to the best of your capabilities. Okay. Accept this meditation. Allow this to be an activating meditation. Don't tolerate what is not you. Confirm what you are and confirm what you are not. So everybody take a deep breath. Exhale. And relax into your vibration. Relax into yourself and give yourself a non-dual awareness. Allow yourself to be an independent creation, knowing that you don't need a thing and you don't need people. Lessons, reflections, and catalysts are what we need. Love, unconditional love within ourselves. Self-preservation, but also self-acceptance. And then self-exploration and self-realization. So that you're able to keep your energy intact, but also maintain that enlightened awareness within yourself. And as you're maintaining that force field, you're just building your spiritual armor. And as you are building that, you're becoming a universal deflector of energy, but also a universal receptor for higher wisdom and knowledge. So you're able to receive the gift at a higher rate, but also allow yourself to expand upon the present moment, and to know that you're not here to just be an unconscious receiver, but you're here to be a discerning spiritual seeker that can see through deception. Don't give into the deception of your generational curse. Don't give into the deception of your illusions. Don't give your power away to your emotional states. Don't give your power away to people, places, and things, or society, or the news, or anything that comes into your vibration. Anything that tries to hinder that vibration, anything that tries to come against that vibration, you have to ignore it. And you have to lead by example, but also lead by your expression within yourself. Because that is authority. That's implementing it, but also being that person 90% of the time. And just because that 10% allows you to integrate, to come back into balance, to come back into your state, but also to not put yourself in so much difficulty or a pedestal or an unrealistic expectation that you're not able to achieve it. Because all things should be possible and all things should be amazing, and you should feel limitless at this moment in time. You should feel the exponential growth of collapsing timelines, of upping a density, of activating your heart aligned to the mind. And then what you're doing is that you're activating that transformation within yourself, but also being able to do that for others. But it's the path of conviction. So you're allowing yourself to be convicted within your vibration, within your resonance, within your charge that you're leading. And you're allowing yourself to fluctuate with the energy that is present. And you're allowing yourself to expand upon the present moment. So you don't feel like you're based in matter or based in how you feel at this exact moment or your emotional states, that you're not dictated by that power, but you're dictated by the power of universal love. And that's what you resonate with. And that's how you maintain that awareness. That's how you stay true to your vibration, but also stay true to yourself. And not have to offer yourself up to anyone. Because all you did is offer yourself up for the divine. You just became a vessel of love and light. You became a vessel for someone else to heal. And you allowed someone else to open up within themselves so that they shared. They released, but also they let go. And this is what we do when we let go. And we remain within that state of consciousness. A balanced masculine and feminine, but also a balanced way to relay the wisdom. And that we can finally get connected to our superhuman aspects. A lot of you can levitate. A lot of you can teleport. A lot of you can change the weather. A lot of you can move things with your mind. A lot of you can time travel. But it's using it as a way of teaching instead of playing with it like it's a little toy. Yes, we should be playful and imaginative, but also we have a responsibility and understanding that with great power comes great responsibility, and that we have to use those gifts as a way of learning, of discernment, of teaching, but also of bridging the gap of that we're not capable of certain things, but we're capable of all things. Our capabilities are endless, but also seeing how far we can take it. And a lot of you are making this normal. There's a normalcy and there's a familiarity with these psychic abilities. So it's like making people feel comfortable with levitation, with moving something with your mind, with meditation, with speaking your truth, but also just being able to embrace that power and imbibe that power and be endowed within the light of your spirit. And at the times of feeling like your gift is not worth anything, or feeling like you have to be persecuted or judged or condemned or anything, is over, because we have the ability on this camera right here to do that. To be love to one another. To be a doorway and a gateway. To be a bridge and a gap to other hearts and minds, and to be that beacon of light. So sometimes it's just tapping into that nothingness will be the most freeing thing that you can do at this moment. It means that you're tapping into that nothingness, and you're allowing that nothingness to stimulate something for you. You're allowing that nothingness to be a place where you're not focused on details or outcomes or human thought or human linearity, but you're based on the quantum and channeling from your galactic chakras. Because that allows you to live the prophecy, but also see into the future, allows you to open up and do your psychic abilities to a greater degree. And tapping into your archetypes of energy, but different combinations of energy, and tapping into the absolute reality here and now. This is where you are at 8th density, at a state of completion, your most aware state and your most alive state. But how can you take that and place it within this present moment? Because you don't want to wait for it. You don't want to wait on anybody. You don't want to wait 30 years. You want it right now. And you should not settle for less. And you should respect yourself in that way. But know your worth. Know that you are worthy of it all. You are worthy of the moon, the stars, the planet, everything. It's just you, are you willing to accept it? Are you willing to accept it here and now? And if you're able to do that, then you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to intend about it, because you know that it has already happened, it just hasn't happened yet. And that's what the beautiful thing about meditation is. That's why you're attracting your future. That's why you're able to see into the future. That's why you're able to see through the illusion of time, which eliminates the fear of death. Because it's the metaphysical death, and it's the revitalization and the aliveness that we feel with letting go of our old self and then tapping into this brand new self and this brand new experience, this direct alignment to the I Am Presence. And so it is. So I hope that was very powerful for you guys. And also I wanted you guys to hear the insects and how they were kind of coming through with that frequency. It was very beautiful when they were kind of like going off, and it was like this whole other activation within yourself. And yeah, and that's just what it's meant for. That's just what it's meant for, is just to tap into the beauty of that meditative state. And it's just like walking it, talking it, and just implementing it. And that's a lesson that we're all facing, even myself. We're learning how, and I've tried my hardest to do that, is to be that person 90% of the time. In the earlier stages of my journey, I can't even say earliest after that meditation, it was pretty difficult. I had a lot of healing. I had a lot of things I had to get off my chest, And when you do that, and you have to love that person that went through all of your past stuff, all of your trauma, in order to love the person that you are now. And that's what's beautiful. And it's very beautiful. And I'm glad that the sun isn't like completely on me, because I was over there and it was beating down on me. It was very, very hot. Okay, I'm going to read some of your guys' comments. Okay, my body starts swaying when I try to tap in and meditate. Is that normal? Absolutely. I noticed that I would get energetic downloads, or if Jesus would work with me and there was anointed music on, sometimes you could feel yourself just swaying with spirit, just moving with spirit. And that's completely normal. Or if you feel a tingling sensation within your third eye, a lot of people tell me that. But no, everything that you experience, if it's in a good nature and it feels mostly in alignment, just know that it's what you need at that moment. And don't feel like that is a bad thing, because that's actually just allowing you to move and sway with spirit, and just allowing spirit to take hold and to move through you, kind of like a little dance routine and stuff. I've done it many times. It's very normal. Anything is normal, what you experience, and it's of a loving nature. So I don't want to detract from anybody. If they feel something in a meditation, I always love feedback, because I want to know what you felt from it. Because, like you said, that's why it feels peaceful. So that's how you should adopt everything in your life. If it feels peaceful, if it feels in sync, if it feels in alignment, even in a difficult situation, or if you're dealing with a person that's just being unreasonable, you don't have to be as unreasonable as that person. You can be in your peace, in your calmness, in your stillness, and stay within your frequency. So you can allow yourself to maintain that. It's not always easy, but generally, like if someone was on a live feed and they like challenged you, or they wanted to say something to you, or they said oh, what you said didn't resonate, and things of that nature. And maybe it doesn't resonate for them, but also you could be the reflection for them to understand what they're not getting. Like if you were with somebody and they had a question and they were kind of being hard-headed about the entire situation, you would have to keep throwing this out there and throwing this out there and throwing that out there, this word picture, this vision, so that they were able to understand it and see past it and things of that nature. So that's how people allow themselves to see past certain things. Let me get my sandals on. So I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this live feed. Do not be afraid to book private sessions. Feel free to book a private session with me for $70 for 1 hour. Also $60 for healing and activation session. Also $50 for a psych class. White Wolf the Oracle YouTube, Instagram whitewolf4741, and BitChute whitewolf the Oracle 23_@. I want to thank you guys for this live and meditation. And if you see me on live maybe later or maybe tomorrow at 10 or 11, I usually get on and try to do readings. So if you're up and you're doing that, some of you have jobs, and sometimes I notice on the weekdays that's not very good time to do it. So, but if you see me on there, feel free to. But also, if you gift beforehand and I see you on the live, just know that I will do a reading for you. But the only thing you would have to do is like and share on the live. So if you gifted me and you saw me on another live like this one, I will give you a reading, because you already gifted, so you wouldn't have to gift again and things of that nature. Even if you have a question too. So I want to thank you. God bless and namaste. Thank you so much for allowing me to do that meditation. And thank you guys for listening. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And God bless and namaste.